Some people enter a room without saying a word, and yet everyone notices them. They do not need to shout. They do not need to demand. They simply are. Their presence shifts the atmosphere, not because of noise or display, but because of the calm authority that silence carries. Perhaps you have met someone like this. They don't argue endlessly. They don't beg for attention. Instead, they choose silence. They step back, and suddenly, the entire dynamic changes. People begin to wonder about them, to chase after their attention, to feel the weight of their absence. Now imagine if you could do the same. What if, instead of reacting instantly to every provocation, you paused? What if, instead of exploding in frustration, you quietly withdrew? What if, instead of being constantly available to everyone, you chose to be selective, guarding your time, your energy, and your peace? The truth is, most of us have been conditioned from childhood to always respond, to always be available, to always say yes, even when our heart is whispering no. We are told that being present for everyone is a virtue. And yes, kindness and generosity are noble qualities. But being endlessly accessible is not the same thing. In fact, it can quietly become a prison. Think about it. Every time you respond immediately to someone's message, every time you rush to defend yourself against unfair criticism, every time you agree to do something you never wanted to do, you give away a piece of yourself. You give away your inner energy, your focus, your peace. And what happens after a while? You feel drained. You feel frustrated. You feel as though life is slipping through your fingers, yet you cannot explain why. Here's the reason. You have allowed yourself to become predictable, always available, always ready to provide comfort, attention, or validation for others. People start to see you as an emotional button. Whenever they feel bored, lonely, or insecure, they press the button and you respond. Then, when they are satisfied, they put you back on the shelf until the next time. It feels like a connection, but it isn't. It's a dependency. And worse, it's one-sided. The painful truth is that the more available you are to everyone, the less value people give to your presence. Because what is too abundant is rarely respected. Every thought, every emotion, every reaction costs energy. This energy is your most precious resource. It fuels your mind, your relationships, your dreams, your connection with the Creator, and your sense of self. But when you waste it on arguments, on pleasing those who don't value you, on defending yourself in conversations that don't matter, you drain it away. No wonder you feel tired without even moving. No wonder you feel restless even after doing nothing. It's not physical exhaustion. It's emotional leakage. And here is the dangerous part. When you are emotionally drained, you become vulnerable. People who seek to manipulate, control, or exploit others can sense it immediately. They notice you don't guard your energy. They notice that you always respond, that you cannot bear silence, that you are always trying to fix everything. And they use that. But the good news is this: you can choose differently. You can take back your energy. You can learn to become unavailable, not as a rejection of others, but as an act of protection for yourself. In today's world, noise is everywhere. Everyone wants to speak. Everyone wants to argue, prove, convince, win. But very few people understand the hidden strength of silence. Silence is not weakness. It is not surrender. True silence is an act of discipline, of control, of clarity. It is the refusal to let others dictate your emotions. It is the decision not to waste your energy on what does not deserve it. When you are silent, you are not absent. You are present in a deeper way. Your silence forces others to confront themselves. It makes them uncomfortable, not because you are wrong, but because they can no longer control you through your reactions. Have you noticed how some people panic when you don't reply immediately, or when you refuse to explain yourself? That panic reveals something important. They were not connecting with you. They were connecting with your availability, with your willingness to play a role in their story. But when you withdraw, when you remain silent, when you no longer play the role, they no longer know who you are, and that unsettles them. Silence comes with a price. They may accuse you of being cold, arrogant, or selfish, but their reaction says more about them than about you. The truth is, when you begin to protect your energy, some people will leave. And that's not a loss, it's clarity. Because those who truly value you will respect your boundaries. They will not demand that you exhaust yourself for them. They will not make you feel guilty for needing peace. And yes, you will be misunderstood. Yes, you may be rejected. But think about it. Is it really rejection, or is it simply the falling away of relationships that were never real in the first place? At the heart of all this is a simple but powerful choice: to choose yourself. Choosing yourself does not mean abandoning others. It does not mean becoming selfish or cruel. It means no longer abandoning yourself for the sake of pleasing everyone else. It means valuing your peace, your dignity, your energy, and your connection with your own soul. When you learn to say no without guilt, when you learn to pause before reacting, when you allow yourself the gift of silence, you begin to feel whole again. And from that wholeness comes a new kind of strength, and strength that does not depend on others' approval. At first, withdrawing feels lonely. You may feel guilty. You may wonder if you are doing the right thing. But over time, something beautiful happens. The silence that once felt heavy becomes peaceful. The solitude that once felt empty becomes full of meaning. This is not loneliness. This is presence, your own presence with yourself. In this space, you rediscover who you are without the noise of others' demands. You find clarity where there was once confusion, calm where there was once anxiety, strength where there was once neediness. This solitude is not a curse. It is a gift. It is the solitude of the strong. When you stop being available for everyone, you start being available for yourself. You will lose people, but you will find yourself. You will distance yourself from certain places, but you will come closer to peace. You will be misunderstood, but you will finally be respected, because respect begins with self-respect. This is not the end. It is a rebirth. A new beginning, where you no longer settle for emotional crumbs, for draining relationships, for endless explanations. Now you accept only what aligns with your truth, your dignity, and your peace. And that changes everything. So now the question is, are you ready? Are you ready to choose silence over reaction? Are you ready to protect your energy instead of wasting it?